Hello and welcome to episode 8, can you believe it, of Practically Green with Anna Brown and Eibhlin Fitzpatrick. This podcast is designed to help you live more sustainably. Each week we talk about a variety of simple and practical changes that you can take to live lightly. No one is perfect. We don't expect you to be. We are not. So we do want to share ideas. We want to make a difference in our communities. Our future can be sustainable. It can be beautiful and it can be fragrant and it can also be delicious. So thanks everybody for listening. I am Eibhlin Fitzpatrick and this is Anna.
Yes, I'm Anna Brown of Big Sky Flowers. And I think certainly this week and every week, we want to just make you think about things. Not everybody's going to do everything that we talk about here. But if we get you to pause for thought of one or two things every week and you learn one new thing, that's really all. I did a edible flowers and herbs course recently and it was really good. It was almost like a supper club, I think somebody said to me. So we had lots to eat. But I said to people, if you can pick one herb that you've learned about new tonight that you will try and grow and use, that would be great. And people did figure out one or two herbs and flowers that they would grow. And that's really all. I brought an awful lot of herbs and flowers. I wouldn't expect people to do all those, overnight, but just one thing is good.
Lovely. So, baby steps.
Yeah.
So that's the only way to do it.
So what have you been up to, Eibhlin, since the last podcast?
Well, I haven't been doing anything crazy, but I've just been attempting to slow down a bit myself, Anna. I'm kind of one of those people that's always, if I'm not doing something, I'm thinking about doing something.
I hear you.
My head is always kind of spinning and going. So I was trying to kind of bring things back to the moment in the last few weeks. I know that's so cliche, but it's very true. It's what I've been trying to do. So I've been getting out onto the bike and doing a good bit of cycling. And I've also, at long last, got back into the lake. And I've just put that into my routine now. After work, I'll swing by the lake and have a nice dip. And it's been heaven.
So it's part of your commute now to swim?
Yeah.
Wonderful.
I just realized, I get to the lake in the same amount of time as I would get home. So I'm just adding an extra maybe half an hour onto my evening before I get home and adding a swim into that.
So your gear is in your car.
Yeah.
You put in your car.
Yeah. Get it ready in the evenings and throw it into the car in the mornings and away with me. And then on the way home, I have something to really look forward to. And it's been
absolutely
just lovely. So
you wash that work out of your hair then you.
Yeah. And it's really lovely. And I'm so glad because I talk about going into the lake. And I think when I'm doing it, it's always the nicest thing ever.
You never regret getting in for a dip.
Never. And even the other day I went, and actually it was just yesterday, and there was so many people there. It was actually really busy. And I was on my own, and I got a little bit intimidated because it was so sunny and there was so many people around. And it took me longer to get into the lake actually because there was so many people around. And when I did, I just immediately all of those kind of anxieties or something just lifted. It was really, really nice. Once I was in, and I didn't want to get out then. That was it.
You're in Lough Ennell, are you? At Lilliput, or where are you?
No, I went to the diving boards in Lough Ennell.
Oh, right. Okay. Very good.
Yeah. So I went down because I'm going on my own generally. I like to, I know there's always going to be somebody there.
Yeah.
So that's
kind of give me a shout sometime and I'll join you.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll give you a shout on the way home. This week is all, I've done my dipping for this week. It's all getting ready for Pride at the weekend. So
all right, yes, very good.
Every weekend, every evening.
Is that Saturday or Sunday now in Mullingar? Is that
Saturday?
Okay.
13th of July. I cannot wait. I'm so excited.
And is it in the afternoon or what time is that?
Yep, so we're going to have a family event at 1:00. We've got some singers and a Sama band and cartoon characters and things like that coming, and then we've got the parade going through town at 3:00, and then we've got Workfest, the festival with the drag queens and live music. We've got Linda Martin and Neve Kavanagh coming at 4:00 until 10.
Great. Well, I must come down for the parade. I'll be in town, so I must cycle in. Yep.
I'll see you there. I'll have my flag on and probably blowing a whistle or something.
And where are you cycling, Eibhlin?
Actually the other day I went out to Loch Bura
Oh, lovely.
Oh, it's gorgeous, Anna.
I
I've
know, I love
cycled.
Lochborough.
It's I've never cycled out there before. It's gorgeous. Um, we saw two peregrine falcons swooping, which I was delighted about. I got really excited. I got the Merlin app out that you recommended before, and huge dragonflies. Oh my god, I couldn't get
Yeah.
over the size. The
It's nice and
dragonflies.
flat too, so you're not doing too many hills, but
Yeah,
yeah,
it was nice. It was nice. We brought my partner's niece, so it was suitable for all of us, and we're
yeah.
not like super fit either, so it was nice to be able to go and
And all
have
the
fun.
sculpture is so gorgeous as well. Like it's just an
Stunning.
amazing place. Yeah.
Yeah, it really is. The work they've done out there is incredible. So, it was well worth a visit. So yeah, I've been happy out, Anna. So that's
Very
been me
good.
trying to clear the mind.
So I've been a bit frantic, unlike you.
Yeah.
I had a couple of workshops, but I suppose the one worth mentioning is that edible flowers and herbs, which was great. And
Yeah.
then the yoga picnic at the weekend. So I did the flowers for that. So they had built these lovely little boxes that go to the front of the stage. So they're very, you can put in lots of jars. So we kind of wedged those in, and then we put lots of flowers into the jars. So there was no floral foam, nothing, it was all glass jars. Um, and I
Gorgeous.
had loads and loads of kind of lovely wildflowers. We did different colors and the different tents and lots of foliage and grasses and, sticky up things and hanging out things. So that was really wonderful. I did that with Nadia Pickersgill. And so we built that. And that was, the afternoon. We had a picnic afterwards, which was lovely. And then on Sunday was the actual yoga picnic. And I did a kombucha demo at that, which was great fun. And I got to get like lots of kombucha for tasting. So there was a parade of people coming up to taste different ones. I had never done so much tasting, and normally I do it when people are making the kombucha themselves. This one just was about tasting and showing how it was done. So yeah,
Mhm.
it went really well, I have to say. I really enjoyed it. And then of course there was lots of yoga to do. So I did one energetic one at the start, and then I chose all the lying down yogas after that, the Tibetan
Lovely.
sound baths and the restorative ones. I mean, you could give yourself like a lot of exercise, or you could also just be very relaxed and have a nice time. So it's a lovely community event. Like people were coming from, some people came from Sligo, people from Longford, people from all over the Midlands. Not too many Dublin people, to my courses at least. But just you felt like you could go on your own and hang out with people that you met, or just the way that the people Alice and Mary and Katie that organize it have put so much thought into everything. Everything is very, very detailed in a very particular, very nice, very kind of, thinking about people's user experience way. So I love, and also the site, the site, there's hills and
Stunning.
it's not just a big flat area where you're wandering around. You kind of have to, go through trees and behind hedges to find the next place. And so it's very lovely in how it's set up. In terms of just interacting with the very natural environment in a
Yeah.
very, positive way.
Great, Anna. I'm so chuffed. I'd say it was big now this year again.
Yeah,
Um,
but it never, like, I never felt like I'm going to have to elbow my way through people to get to something. I think for me, music festivals would be a little bit hard because there would be too many people at it. I wouldn't enjoy that.
yeah.
But this, I mean, there was at one point it was very, very raining. It was like there was torrential. People kind of gathered underneath the tents, but it never felt like, a stampede's going to happen here and we're going to get all
Yeah.
swashed to death, which to me at the front of a music event, I kind of feel like, oh, if something goes wrong here, I could be
Yeah.
so there's never that feeling of being too tight because you're in these tents that are far away from other tents, so you can always kind of go out into nature very easily, so you never feel like you're claustrophobic or contained. But there was lots of people there, all having a great, really good time. There was plenty of food trucks, plenty of different ways to have things to drink. If you didn't bring your own, it was plastic free. Actually, there was no disposable
Oh,
plastic. They had
really?
one of those trucks for the water, and there was reusable cups for that. So you'd have enjoyed that part. So people knew
Oh, I'm
not to
chuffed I
bring
do that.
anything onto the site that was going to be plastic. So there wasn't like a pile of litter. Like I went the next day to pick up all my glass jars, and there wasn't loads of litter anywhere.
Brilliant. It's
So
it's like that is such a small, simple change for a festival to do, and the amount of plastic that that would save in itself is huge, isn't it?
it is.
I really hope more and more places start picking these things up. I know that that is becoming more common, I suppose, but to even announce that it's plastic free is really, I don't know.
Yeah, I think the next thing for me for festivals now will be having composting toilets. I think I
Mm,
mentioned to you that when I went over in the UK, I had composting toilets, and I think that there are ones you can get the Portaloos that are composting. And that's
Yeah.
a really sensible way to not have like nasty smells and bad waste building up after a festival as well. So in my mind, that'd be the thing. If you wanted to kind of show that your festival was really sustainable, try
Yeah.
to find, I mean, there must be somebody, I must have a look. There must be somebody that's now providing, portaloos that are actually composting rather than chemical based.
That'd be so good because it would really open people's eyes to the fact that that's not
Not a
such
big deal.
a
Yeah.
big deal at all. I've used so many composting toilets. I think I've only ever been to one that was like smelly, and that was, like a long drop situation that wasn't well maintained, but generally they're perfect. Like you
Yeah.
just don't notice the difference,
I mean,
which
nature
is
does, if that was a problem, we'd be going to the woods and all the animal poo would be stinking the place up, like
that's so
so.
true actually. Yeah, that's so true.
So nature does take care of that stuff. It's just, I suppose, when a lot of things are in one place and it's shoved in, nature
Mm,
has to have to get some help and kind of taking care of it. Somebody mentioned something recently. Actually, it was Tom Lawler, the guy from Kilbeggan Organic Oats, and he said that he was talking about the difference between chemical and biological process. So he was talking about today's farming, conventional farming is chemical based. And if you go organic, and as most
mhm.
people, he is very much, and as I'd like people to all do that, you're
Yeah,
looking at biology. And so, with the chemical toilets, there's, it's chemicals. And if with the chemicals, it's biology. So you just help
yeah,
biology do its work and it happens. So anyhow,
yeah.
so enough chat of,
Can you hear Dickens is here beside me and he's dreaming and he's like having a little run in a bark in his sleep. I don't know if you heard that, but if
I
anyone's
did hear
listening,
something, that was a chair moving. Okay,
no,
that's
it's
Dickens,
him.
lovely.
Yeah, he's giving out in his dreams again. Sorry, go on there, Anna. I
So just,
interrupted.
I thought we'd move on to the simple sustainable alternatives. And this,
Absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah.
this week is an interesting one.
Yes.
It came to my mind because I was in the car and I heard an ad for
Hmm.
Amazon Prime Day. And we're
Yeah.
not trying to promote Amazon Prime Day, quite the
But
contrary. But it got me
yeah.
thinking about that thing about this time of the year, there's sales on. And
Yeah.
you feel like if you don't go to the sale of, your favorite brand and you don't get something that's reduced, you're missing out on, something fantastic. And it's
Yeah.
Amazon Prime is that multiplied by a million,
Oh my God.
where
Yeah.
there's like, there's this day where you have to buy and it's great. The deals are so great. Um,
Mm.
and I suppose the first thing to say is, your life won't be any better if you miss out. It won't be any worse if you miss out. It probably possibly be better. You'll
Mm.
probably be a little bit richer. But it's to kind of be conscious of that in your head where you think, "Oh, I'm going to miss out on something," because
Mm.
that's what the marketing is doing. It's making you feel like
Yeah.
you're going to miss out on something, but actually you're not missing out on anything.
Yeah.
So let's say that, like, we're not missing out on anything by missing the
Exactly.
sales or missing Amazon Prime Day.
Exactly.
Plenty of times, because that's kind of around our wedding anniversary. Um, and quite often we've been away and kind of off the grid for that particular day, and
Hmm.
we haven't even remembered our anniversary, let alone Amazon Prime days. And we didn't miss out. We were fine. We were perfectly
Oh
happy.
yeah.
And so, a few years ago, my mother was alive. She would call us and wish us happy anniversary. We'd be like, "Oh, it's our anniversary today. Okay, great, happy anniversary."
Who says romance is dead?
But even that pressure
I
to
know.
to do something for your partner on their anniversary, um,
Mhm. To do
because
it
you're not
anyway.
doing something every day for them,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
the kind of the trope that that one of the partners is annoyed because the other partner didn't remember the anniversary. Like if we both forget, I suppose it's good.
Yeah.
So, but every day should be a day to show your affection for your partner and your love, not that you
Absolutely.
only do it once a year. Like that's a
Yeah.
bit sad. Maybe Valentine's Day and your anniversary, great.
Absolutely. I agree. Yeah, I agree.
But to go
Uh,
back to Amazon Prime,
yeah. I hate Amazon. I'm just gonna put it out there. I know that I don't usually like go ham on, but I think it's such a um horrible company. And it's not to like shame people that use it at all. I totally understand why people use Amazon all the time. But coming from the perspective of a like I was a small business owner and then the pressure to try and compete with those things, it's just impossible. So trying to show other people that it's not great for them either is kind of important, I think. Um
yeah. Can I
it's
just add in? I hate Timu.
oh
Um,
God, so much. Yeah.
so we just add that in.
Yeah. It's these big massive corporations that are putting small businesses out of business, because there's no competing with them, but also their ethics are horrendous, and the waste they produce as well is just shocking. So yeah, it I don't know, it they really frustrate me because there's such a norm. Um, but I understand why people buy them, because they're like advertised to us constantly. So I actually don't think it's not on our algorithm, Anna. Like I can't imagine, I don't get ads for Amazon Prime, or maybe once in a blue moon, but it doesn't show up on my feed. Do you know? Whereas I know that's not the case for others.
Yeah, I suppose on the radio it's not that selective, so
Yeah,
that's probably why I heard it. It probably
yeah,
wouldn't have got it otherwise. But
yeah.
yeah, I think if we take it to a logical conclusion where small businesses are gone and everybody's in the internet, what is a town anymore? You know, part of a town, like the town, okay, that's for eating, so that's nice.
Mm-hmm.
And for getting your groceries, that's nice. But there won't be any little shops left that'll sell, you know, clothes or shoes, or and not everybody, you know, can buy. If you're kind of a standard size, certainly you can buy, you know, online. But if you want to try things on ahead of time, you really have to have shops to go. And
Yeah,
I mean, the part of the waste that you mentioned is that people buy things, send them back, and it's not worth the company's while to put those back on hangers and resell them, so they just get thrown away. So like
yeah.
if if they can do that, if they can throw away the things that you've returned and
Mm-hmm.
still have a cheap price, what price is going to the people who made that?
Exactly. There's just no value on the work that's gone into these products. There's or the people that are making them.
Yeah.
And I don't think that everybody knows what you just said there, and it was really interesting actually, because I don't think that everybody knows that thing, that if you order from these big companies and return it, that stuff gets dumped. Like that is what happens to those things. It's too much effort. Um so I want to underline that, because I think that's important, because that's seems to be the standard now, is buy a few sizes, and then if it doesn't fit you, return the other ones that don't, that rather than kind of figuring out the sizes or whatever. So I think that's important.
Yeah. So this is a bit of a downer, isn't it?
That's all right. I don't know. It's a hard I don't know. I think it's a hard job to try and make Amazon sound good when you're conscious of the environment.
Yeah. Well, I mean
But
that's not what we're trying to do here. I suppose let's think about how you can. So first of all, I suppose when you hear those ads or you see the ads for either Amazon or Temu, remember that Anna and Eibhlin hate those companies.
yeah.
Don't support them.
Yeah, we need like some sort of a jingle to get
Yeah.
people stuck in their heads, so that when they see it, they don't.
Perhaps next week we'll have worked on that.
Yeah.
But the second thing is there are lots of alternatives that you can have. So, you know, I was thinking about clothes, but you were thinking about other things on
Yeah.
those marketplaces.
Mhm.
So let's just start with the clothes.
Yeah.
And I do know some people I'm related to have gone and told me they got all these clothes great on Amazon Prime. But the first thing is to shop your closet, you know.
Mhm.
There's probably things buried at the back you haven't worn. And you know, if you're at this time of the year, if you're buying shorts and t-shirts, like you only really need one pair of each because the weather is so bad. So you might already have enough. But yes,
Unfortunately.
so to shop your closet and then to shop your friends' closets. So,
Hmm.
you know, there's organize an event would make, I mean, if you're lying in bed late at night and you're feeling like not that great about yourself and you go onto Amazon and get something that'll cheer you up, what would cheer you up a lot more is get together with your friends and organize a clothes swap. It's a little bit more work, but
Yeah.
you'll actually feel way better at the end of that than by clicking on
Yeah.
something and something will come and maybe it won't suit you. Maybe you'll think you look worse in it. So maybe you won't, you know, maybe it won't feel that great. Um, Also think about making clothes yourself or, you know, fixing up the ones you have. And there are courses coming up in September. I know I saw a really nice one in LWETB, the place in Garrycastle in Athlone. They have an amazing facility there. They have all kinds of great rooms. Like they've got, you know, you can learn to mend your car, you can do carpentry, and you can learn to sew. So you could go
Oh.
there if you wanted to sew, you could learn to sew there.
Mm.
Um, there's also, as we mentioned before, change clothes Crumlin. So you can book an appointment. You bring some clothes, you get credits for those ones. Um, you can pick then out whatever you want from the rails, and you probably can pay for stuff if you haven't got enough credits. But
Mhm.
I'm sure they have really. I've seen examples of things people have got. They've got like they don't take everything that you bring, so they've curated it somewhat.
Yeah.
I'm trying to go there. We should actually plan a trip there, Evelyn, you and
I
I.
love it, Anna. Yeah, I'd
Just
love
kind of
it.
collect all the stuff in your wardrobe that you want to get rid of, and we'll take a
Yeah.
trip there and have a look, so we can
Hmm.
report back to the podcast
Perfect.
listeners. But that's something worth doing, to book an appointment somewhere like that, especially if you're living in Dublin, or you're
Mm.
not too far away, and go there with a friend, and
Yeah.
have them someone. I mean, for me, I like to have somebody else style me. I go into a shop and say, tell me what to wear.
Yeah.
So, if somebody can come with me, and if you can come with me, Evelyn, and help me figure out what looks good and not,
Yeah.
um, that'd be great. And, that
Lovely.
would be much more fun than clicking on a button and spending a load of money.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And actually, Anna, I was thinking of it as well because I see sometimes these things like online when people do hauls, like when they go for one of these sales or one of these like dirt cheap websites and they buy a load of stuff. I know that that's like a thing that people do, and sometimes it's not even with the idea of doing it as a haul, but if you just added loads of stuff to your basket and then you buy a lot, it'd be interesting to see if you did shop Amazon Prime last year, um, to look and see, are you using those things? Is there anything that you actually thought that you really needed and bought and are using? I think it would be a good opportunity to reflect on your own consumer habits and think about actually, well, this was a good purchase because I'm using this every day or whatever, and this one I never did. I think that would be interesting.
Yeah,
You
you can
know,
actually go into your Amazon account, and you can actually look to see what you bought.
there you
And
go.
so not even to look in the drawers in your closet, but actually to see what you bought and see, did you actually use it?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're still having that online experience, but then you can, figure out whether it was a benefit to you or not.
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
make reusing our stuff cool again. Like instead of being like, I got this new, be like, oh, thanks, it's 7 years old now, you
And I
know?
mean, that is kind of a thing for some people on the red carpet. They will talk about, the dress that's like
Brilliant.
whatever. And that's, it's good that the discourse is changing,
Mm,
in people that are in the public eye, but certainly for us as well. And some of the things, I suppose the quality of things that you bought me 20 years ago is probably better than the quality of things now. So you might actually be getting wear out of stuff. I know I have stuff that's quite old,
yeah.
that, and t-shirts especially, they get so soft and nice from,
Yeah.
multiple wears. Even though they might have
Yeah.
holes in the armpits, you still like just they just feel really good if they
Yeah.
were like a nice cotton to begin with.
The reliables.
Yeah.
Mm,
Okay. So moving on to the to like recommendations, I
yeah.
suppose. Do you feel like we said enough about Amazon? Have you gotten all the stuff out of your system that you need to talk about in terms of?
Yeah, I don't want to be a downer, and I do want to kind of say again that it's not to shame people that do buy these things, and I think sometimes if you have something on your list that you really do want and have thought about for a long time, it's okay to get it at a bargain price, but it's just the compulsive, clicking and shopping. I just would love if people got their
You were saying that Amazon brings in small businesses, and then
mhm.
once they
Yeah.
have them selling
Mhm.
at volume,
This is a thing that these massive companies are starting to do, and Amazon is guilty of this big time. Is they will allow small businesses to start selling on their site, and then when that product starts doing really well, they'll catch on to that, and then they duplicate that product or item of
they
clothing
have
or
all the
whatever.
data at that point.
Yeah, and then they start making it, selling it for a cheaper price, and then the original small business is then run out of business.
Mm.
And that's standard practice across these sites. So it's really like it's completely annihilating small businesses. And of course, I am all about supporting the community
But I
and
mean,
small
small
business.
business are what makes our communities great. If we've no
Absolutely.
small business, there's no employment, there's nowhere to go when you're doing a little kind of dander around town on a
There's
Saturday.
no character. You like
No.
totally lose the character of a place. Um, so yeah, I think it is, and maybe for people to take a stand and not buy anything on Amazon Prime Day, just to see
There
because
is a buy nothing day, isn't there? Is that like the day after Thanksgiving or something? There's
mm, okay,
people,
then we do that for Black Friday.
yeah.
Yeah,
But I mean, you can also do it in July. I mean, every day could be a buy nothing day apart from groceries if you so choose.
yeah,
I
yeah.
know I did a year of buying nothing new. from clothing point of view. And it was quite refreshing. I didn't think about it. It's like, no, I don't go to the sales because I'm not buying
Mm,
anything this year. And
yeah.
it helped reset my habits quite
Hmm.
well, because if you spend a year doing, you don't buy anything at all that's other than food, um, and I suppose experiences and maybe a bit of diesel for the car,
Yeah.
then when it comes the next, if you come to the end of that year, you're not actually, you haven't got a lot of pent up demand. You actually have got the habit of not buying.
Yeah, that's it. It's such a mindset change.
Yes,
That's such a good idea. A year of buying nothing. That's so good, Anna. But if somebody
mm,
wanted to do that, they could do it for a week. Do you know?
absolutely. And then maybe it becomes a
Um,
month, maybe it becomes 2 months.
exactly.
Yeah.
I'm coming from, like I've said it before, like a reformed shopaholic, whereas I would have been the first one on these kind of things before. And now I can't. They're not on my radar. I wouldn't consider it. So I don't feel like I'm missing anything at all, because that's not how I think anymore, which took a lot of work. So um I'm glad. I'm really glad I've made those changes, and I can, like, kind of, my lifestyle aligns with my values now, and it's nice.
Well, that shopping stuff, it's usually you're shopping because of some emotional, not necessarily a
Mm.
physical necessity, but some emotional need.
Yeah,
It's never actually met by the buying.
yeah. So go jump
And
in the lake instead of
yeah, yeah, yeah.
buying something.
So just to kind of flip this, then maybe to
Yeah.
find some communities for trading stuff. So
Yes.
I know some countries have libraries of things, and I know there's talk about getting some of that happening
Mhm.
in the library here in Westmeath, but I think they haven't got that for. I know that there's talk of having a seed library there, and I think I'll be doing a
Fantastic.
seed saving course in Athlone Library in September that will kind of fit into that, because people need to know how to save the seeds in order to have a seed library full of seeds
Yeah.
people have saved. But I mean, if you're in any community, if you're on Facebook, there's a Facebook marketplace. There's places where there's free stuff on Facebook. I give away quite a bit of stuff on Facebook, in kind of the Mullingar area. So you can
Mm.
find communities where you can ask for things that you need, or you can give away stuff you don't need. And, whatever I don't need, somebody generally wants, which is wonderful. So it's not going into landfill. It's not going into a skip somewhere. It's actually somebody, like we had a chicken feeder that was too big and I offered it and somebody took it, and there was a few people waiting in line to get it. So that was wonderful. It hadn't cost me anything. Somebody else had given it to me and I didn't have any use for it. So that was good. But think even Olio, the one we've talked about before, and from a food waste
Yeah.
point of view, has a non-food section. So you can offer stuff there, and you can
Hmm.
also ask for things there. And you places that you can ask for stuff, they have a limit. You can only ask for like one thing a week or something. But you'd be surprised when you ask for things and you can give the story of why you need it. People will be more than happy to help you with
Yeah.
that, because there's probably somebody with it who doesn't need it anymore, who happens to
Mm.
see that on Facebook, which is always wonderful when that serendipitous stuff happens.
Yeah.
Like before we had this sort of social media, we couldn't have found the people unless we were, out at the front of your house saying, anybody for the last chicken feeder? Got a
Yeah.
chicken feeder for free here.
Putting noses up in the shop.
Yeah. So this is good that you can get to the people. Free
Mm.
Cycle's another one. Free Cycle was really big before this century, but it kind of faded away. But there are free cycle groups. And I think they've kind of morphed into the Facebook groups. There's pay it forward, there's giveaway groups, um, for just kind of geographically centered, because it makes sense to give stuff away in your area.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And
Um.
actually, Facebook could, I mean, not that we want to promote Facebook, but it will kind of say to you, you put it here, put it in these places as well. And so it'll kind of remind you where you might put it. And
Mm.
I don't sell things on Facebook. I just give stuff away for free. So it's a very useful way
Yeah.
for me to access people who need what I want.
And that's actually a section on adverts as well. Anytime I would go on adverts, I
Oh,
look at
very
what
good.
the free section they have, that, yeah, free down the bottom of it. So that's
Yeah.
actually really handy. Sometimes there's great stuff in it, especially if you're looking for things like furniture, bookshelves and that kind of stuff. They have really great stuff. So yeah, it's worth checking them out. And sometimes, yeah, I suppose when you're thinking long and hard about what it is that you actually want or need, um, you take the time to research where you can get it in a more ethical way. So that is, and it's such a buzz when you get something free.
Oh, it is.
Yeah,
It
it's
has twice the value of something that you
yeah,
paid money for.
yeah, absolutely. So it's good.
And you've made
One of
somebody
my
happy because you've taken their stuff that, that they didn't need anymore, but it
Mhm.
hasn't gone to a bad place. It's gone to someone who appreciates it. Because
Sure.
you kind of like your stuff, you know, your stuff has connection to you. And even though
Hmm.
you mightn't need it anymore, you don't want to just send it free into the world. You want to have it go to a nice place. So
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it makes all these little things make such a big difference. And that's another part of like building communities because in order to swap those things or whatever, usually you have a like a quick chat with whoever you're giving it to or getting something from as well, which I think is really nice. I've met some lovely people doing that actually.
and people might give you, if you give them something for free, they might give you something in return and bring you a bottle of wine or bottle. I mean, I never
Mm,
want that, but people
yeah,
feel the need to, and you have to accept that graciously and say thank you very much. And I mean, if
yeah,
someone's giving me something, I'll bring them flowers or
yeah,
soap.
yeah,
So, you know, it is very nice to have that connection with people.
yeah.
Um,
Lovely.
yeah.
As well as that, my workplace actually, I only learned about it there a couple of weeks ago, but it makes so much sense. But we have a bit of a library of things there, um, because our maintenance manager they decided to do it. They use tools all the time, but it's not necessarily tools that you would always be using. But like, there's different things there. Like, one of them is a gazebo, that they needed for events sometimes where I work, and they have that if you need to borrow it, you can borrow it. You just like sign it out, and when you're going to bring it back and bring it back in good order. I think that's such a clever idea for businesses to do that.
So if you
Um,
work for a big
not
business,
every-
it probably there'll be bound to be somebody who's got something that you
Mhm.
could borrow or yeah.
Absolutely, yeah, yeah. To have this kind of thing that you can, I don't think we can necessarily add to it, but it was making me think that you could really have that conversation with where you're working, being like, I have these things. Um, for us here, like trimming the grass, like we don't do it that often. So buying a new trimmer would be kind of ridiculous. So if we could borrow that and give it back would be,
You
something
need to
simple.
get a scythe, Evelyn.
Yeah. Realized as I was saying it who I was saying it to.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
but it worked out.
I think it's worth proposing even to your sports and social committee, like that they might like if a company
Yeah.
has like a lot of space, if they've got big warehouses, that they could have an area in
Hmm.
some way to do it. I suppose the main thing is you buy things, give them back better than you got them.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Or at least as good as you got them, not
Mhm.
in worse shape. And
Exactly.
I suppose, you know, people like to have their own stuff, but to me, borrowing is a great way to be able to do things. Like if you're having a party and you wanted to borrow some glasses, if you don't want to buy a pile of glasses for all the people,
Mm.
perhaps one of your neighbors has like a load stashed away, or they have anyhow. Um,
Yeah.
yes, there's certain lots of opportunities in the sharing economy to do stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah. So that would be our recommendation, is to actually think about these things and do a little bit of research on what's in your area. Because there's so much. So it's well worth doing it.
So then on to the seasonal eating part of our podcast. My favorite part because it's got to do with eating.
Yeah.
So,
Tell me, Anna, what's in season?
well, I mean, the tomatoes. So I've been able to buy Irish tomatoes and Duns, very
Mm.
nice ones, and they were delicious. Mine aren't quite there yet, but some people I've seen on Instagram, even in the Midlands area, have ripe tomatoes at this point. So tomatoes are something
Really?
that's totally in season now. So, you know, have a look on the packaging and see if it says grown in Ireland. And if it
Hmm.
has, then that's great. It's going to be Irish. It should have a better flavor than what you would get the rest of the year because it hasn't probably been refrigerated or, you know. Um, and if you can grow your own, even better. The other thing is courgettes. They would be in season right now. So they're, you know, there comes a point in the summer if you grow courgettes that you've got way too many and you're giving them away as much as you can. But you're probably not quite at that point yet. But you know, it's great for salads, stuffing them, all kinds. I mean, tomatoes you can do a million things I won't even mention because
Yeah.
they're just great on their own. But the courgettes, I think, take a little bit more work. Would you be a courgette eater now, Evelyn?
I do like a courgette, yeah, but I'm the only one in the house that likes courgettes. So we don't get them that much.
Right. Because I saw a recipe in the New York Times now that was like a shaved courgette, and there was lemon and a bit of olive oil and some feta cheese sprinkled on top. And maybe there was basil or some other herb in it. It sounded like it was very nice anyhow. I need to find more ways to use the courgettes once I have them, but I haven't got any yet, so it's not a problem just yet. Um, Cucumbers will be in season, and then we're getting into the kind of the winter squash then soon. But yeah, to me, if things that I would be looking for now would be tomatoes, courgettes, French beans, runner beans,
Mm.
um, things like that would be very much in season at the moment. And of course, probably there's beetroot, and it's probably maybe a bit early for leeks, maybe. But yeah, there's this. I mean, this is the time of the year when there's everything. There's loads of garlic available, because we've just
Yeah.
harvested the garlic, so you can make some
Mm,
amazing dishes with those vegetables.
yeah, absolutely. I harvested the garlic that you gave me, Anna.
Oh, did you?
Um, yeah, I have it hanging in I don't even know what to call it. It's where we have our boiler. So
Mhm.
the boiler room, I suppose. But we have it hanging there. So you're supposed to hang it for like a month, aren't you?
Well, until it gets kind of papery and crispy and dry. Was it dry when you picked it?
No, we had a period of a lot of rain and I picked it during that, even though I know you're not supposed to, but I was looking at like I have to look online for these things and I was looking like to see when's the best time. It's when the bottom leaves start dying off and they were well and truly.
Perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, so I just didn't want to leave them in the ground
So the garlic
any
should be kind of
longer.
papery on the outside now. It should have kind of a white. So that's dry
Mm,
enough. I mean,
yeah.
basically,
Oh,
I'm
they
sure
look perfect.
you wash
Yeah,
the dirt off them. So
yeah,
like,
yeah.
as long as there's no green showing anywhere, you can like. I mean, you could use them anyhow.
Mm.
Um, and I expect you probably will use them quickly, and they won't last you until next March or April.
No, but it was good. It was so satisfying picking them. So thank you very much for that.
Not at all. What have you got in the pot now?
Sorry.
Have you got something else in the pot now?
Nope, nothing is in the pot now.
Would you like a cucumber plant? I have a lot of cucumbers.
Oh yeah, okay. I take
You
some
can try
cucumber.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good. Well, when Pride is over, we'll organize that you can have one
Great.
of many cucumber plants. I had a batch, didn't do well. I did a second batch and I probably overplanted, and now I have cucumbers in vast amounts. Just the plants, not the actual cucumbers, sadly. So
Right. No problem. I'll take one of them off. Yeah.
great stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I suppose that's it for this week then. I suppose thanks to people for listening.
Yeah. It's been
Um,
such a lovely chat, Anna.
you can find more about us during the weeks on Big Sky Flowers on Instagram, Big Sky Flowers on Facebook. Evelyn, it's Evelyn Fitz on
Yeah.
Instagram,
Yeah.
and there's the
I have
Practically Green podcast on Instagram as well.
exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, so that's, and my newsletter would come out once a month, so there'll be one coming out probably next week for July.
Lovely.
And that you can get that on bigskyflowers.ie. You can subscribe there to the newsletter. Lots of new subscribers lately, actually, which is good. So
Oh, lovely, Anna.
lots to write about as well at the moment. So that's
I'll
also
have to
good.
be ready when it comes out.
Yes, good
Lovely.
stuff. So we'll say goodbye then.
Yeah. Thanks so much, Anna. Bye. Bye, guys.
Bye.